This is Peak's new Dyneema Solitude 4 teepee. Is it worth the investment? Let's talk about it. So 1 year ago, Peaks Equipment launched their Solitude 4 teepee. That's this teepee right here, but instead of Dyneema, it's made out of sil nylon. It's the only difference between this one and the other one. I typically use teepee tents later in the season during either fall hunts or even winter hunts when it's super cold and you've got long nights in the tent and you want to have a wood stove. When you pair a teepee with a wood stove, which Peaks is coming out with soon, it's really an ideal setup. You get the stove rolling in there, got a ton of extra space because it is a teepee. You can pretty much stand up in this thing. It might be 65, 70 degrees inside the teepee when it's like 10 degrees or even 0 degrees outside. Teepee tent life during colder season hunts, that is where this thing really, really shines. Last summer, I actually did an entire breakdown video of teepee tents and why they're so great and where they fit in. So if you want to watch that, link is right here. Now let's talk about what makes this tent so special. So the only difference between this tent and the previous version of the Solitude 4 teepee is the fabric. This one is made out of Dyneema. The old one is made out of sil nylon. A couple things about Dyneema. First off, it's quite a bit lighter. The fabric itself is just a lighter fabric. It also is inherently waterproof versus sil nylon, which is nylon treated with a silicone backer. That's how it makes it waterproof versus Dyneema, just the fabric itself is waterproof. The other thing about Dyneema is that it does not stretch when it gets wet or when the temperatures change. Versus sil nylon, you'll pitch your teepee, say you pitch it up in midday sun, and then in the evening or at night it gets cooler, or say it gets snowed on. That fabric is going to expand and contract with the temperatures. So you're probably going to have to retension all of your guy out points after you have your sil nylon teepee up. But with the Dyneema one, just set it once and forget it and you're good. The other great thing about Dyneema is, this is back to the waterproof point, is if you do get water on it or say it gets covered in rain or you're putting it away wet, because the fabric is inherently waterproof, you can literally just like shake it off. You can just shake all that rain off and stuff it back into the stuff sack and you're good to go. So those are the main differences between the fabrics. The reality of Dyneema is it is way more expensive. I do not know the price tag on this thing, but it might be double of what the sil nylon one is. So the big question, is it worth it? Let's talk about the specs. The main spec here, the main one you want to be paying attention to, the main selling point of this entire tent is the weight. The Dyneema one, in total, with the stakes and the center pole, weighs 31 ounces. The sil nylon version, with the stakes, with the center pole, weighs 37 ounces. So it's just a 6 ounce difference. Is 6 ounces worth almost double the price? That's for you to decide. 6 ounces over 10 miles. That's a lot of extra weight on your legs. Also, 6 ounces. I mean, that's basically 6 honey stinger waffles. That's a lot of food. The 6 ounce difference, it's also a testament to just how light the sil nylon version is. You know, at 37 ounces, that's a pretty dang light teepee for 2 people. Let's talk about setting this teepee up. So I always use the Peaks floor versus a Tyvek ground sheet. I love laying the floor down first, and you can get an exact idea of where the teepee is going to sit, and then you pitch the teepee on top of that. The floor is made out of sil nylon. They are not planning to make a Dyneema one, just because the Dyneema is not as puncture resistant as sil nylon. Sil nylon one just holds up better. The floor adds 13 ounces to the whole kit, but you're always going to run a floor. You know, whether you use the Peaks floor or a Tyvek ground sheet, you're always going to have a floor. Just sleeping straight on dirt or on like wet mud or even snow just doesn't work. You got to have some sort of floor. So with the floor, you are looking at a total of 43 ounces for this entire shelter. It's a 2-person teepee, works amazing with a stove. That's pretty much how I always use it. So the big question, is Dyneema worth it? My personal opinion is yes. I hate having to retension all my things, and I love the weight savings. And I'm also just a total gear snob and a gear whore, and I'm just always looking to cut weight every bit I possibly can. My back's hurting. I'm getting older. I'm just trying to lighten my load constantly. If only camera gear would get a little bit lighter, that would be the day. If you want to try out this teepee or the sil nylon version, and you want to save 10%, you can use code DRAKE at checkout at peaksequipment.com. I do work with Peaks. I help create content, both photo and video content for them, and I'm also an ambassador for them. Pretty stoked to put my name behind some of these products. Their teepees are epic, trekking poles, epic, backcountry duo headlamp, best headlamp ever made. Like literally, it is the best headlamp ever made. Love that thing. And again, if you want to save 10% on any of these products, code Drake at checkout at peaksequipment.com.